Okay, it's Mr. Brian here again. Going to talk again about using the scan tool on our vehicle, but this time I'm going to go a little different. I'm going to go into the scanner icon here, and I'm going to go into the enhanced side or the manufacturer side of the scan tool. And that allows me to do a couple of different things I couldn't do on generic. First of all, it allows me to activate different things on the car. It allows me to see more than just the one module that we saw on the generic side, as well as it gives me a lot more data than I might get on the generic side, but it's going to give me different data. So let's go in and take a look at it. So I know I'm going to the enhanced side when it has to ID the vehicle. If you notice, the last one just pulled up a VIN and pulled up a protocol. Now it's actually going to pull up a year, make, model for me. So I'm going to come down to Toyota. And newer software may automatic ID this, but I'm going to come to automatic ID. And it is going to talk, and it comes up and tells me that I'm working on a 2012 Camry. 2.5 liter, 4-cylinder. Gives me my engine model here and my VIN number. And yes, that's what I'd like to load because that's what I have in front of me. And I can see here that I have quite a few modules. I have common selections up here. Then I can come down to some ADAS modules, anti-theft modules, body control modules, and so on. Now this car is not going to have all of these modules because this car doesn't have every option. For example, this car is not a hybrid vehicle, therefore it's not going to have that module. So part of working on cars is knowing what's supposed to be there and what's not supposed to be there, and kind of comparing that to what I see in front of me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a code scan, and I'm going to click the top, and it's going to go through and it's going to talk to each address on where these computers should be and see who answers and who has something to say today. So I'm going to do a code scan here. And this is what's called a pre-scan. This is something we'd want to do at the beginning of any car we work on because we want to know who is on the network, who's on the vehicle, but we also want to know everybody who has codes. Because maybe someone here has codes that isn't I'm working on, but now the customer takes the car and they have a problem. For example, I'm not here working on the ABS, and I'm not even aware of an ABS problem. I haven't had an ABS light on this car, but yet I clearly have what? 2 ABS codes. So what if I'm working on the engine on this car, and then the customer leaves and their ABS light comes on? They're going to come back and ask me what I did to their car. This shows me this problem was here before I did anything about it. I can also give my customer the option if they want me to diagnose it. However, what I can tell you is what I would do is I would clear these codes, drive it, and see what comes back after recording the code. So I'm going to take a snapshot here of these codes. I can see my airbag has no codes. My body control module has some codes, and it's lost some communication here. Communication codes are not uncommon. These are U codes or UART codes for network. Not uncommon to have some of those. Again, I'm going to document them. Even though my system will automatically remember, I'm going to take a quick snapshot here so I have that. And I'm going to come down and I have a code in heating and air conditioning. Another communication code. So obviously at some time, something happened in my network where everyone lost communication. Now this could have been when the battery went bad on it. And codes haven't been cleared since then. So it may have been low battery voltage or something like that, where the car had to be jump started, could have set some of these codes. And I got the navigation system right there. Setting malfunction, navigation. Now what's interesting about this is this car doesn't have a navigation system. So just because it's here, I kind of got to put it in perspective. Is this really something that's a problem, or is there something that it's looking for and that module's not even there? For example, this car is not equipped with navigation. And, occupant classification. So sleep operation. So this means my module went to sleep and didn't wake up on time or something. And we see it's a B code or body control system code. It's not a communication code. So this is something set in that module. Again, I'm not real worried. The customer, I'm not experiencing any complaint with it. I want to record them before I clear them. And we got OBD2 code 0. And here's our monitors. And remember, when we were on generic, my monitors were complete. Now only my comprehensive component monitors are complete. And the rest there. Now the SureTrack on top that we see, network unavailable, that's fine. I'm not using SureTrack. See if I can close it. There we go. And so that's where I got that. So we come down here. And the sleep operation, and then it looks at my readiness monitors. And we can see, since I cleared the codes, when I was doing my generic function, I now have my continuous monitors are complete, because they complete as soon as I, basically, right after I clear the codes, and then my non-continuous monitors. Now, just because they're complete doesn't mean I've checked for misfires, doesn't mean I've checked for fuel control or anything else. All it means is that the flag is toggled complete, so if I'm going to get a smog, they're going to show complete. These other monitors have not run because I haven't driven the car. So now let me back out of this, and I'm going to use a clear all function. So I'm going to clear everything. And this is the quickest way to go through and clear everybody. If I wanted to look at freeze frame in a module or something, I should have done that before I hit clear. In this case, I'm just trying to get a spot. And you can see this is a lot more efficient than going through these modules one at a time. It tells me that I have 14 systems detected. So if I'm working on a car and my customer has a problem that's not functioning properly, and if it's not working on one of these modules, for example, maybe the electric power steering wasn't working, and if I didn't see the electric power steering module here, that would mean that module's not working. So it can give me a clue on what might be wrong. So let's do that. Now let's code scan again and see if we have any codes that come back. We know if the codes come right back, that's a hard code or a circuit code that I could actually diagnose and find the problem on. So you can see this gives me a lot more ability to test a lot more of the vehicle than just on the generic side. Here I can look at the brakes, I can look at body control, I can look at cruise control, my driver's door. So I can look at my driver's door motor and see if maybe the window's not going up and down. I can actually look at the switch. I can actually make the window go up and down with the scan tool. So there's a lot of things that we can do here on the manufacturer side. So this is what you get with an enhanced scan tool, is you get the ability to go in and see these different systems, more like a factory scan tool would. I can't do this on the generic side. So there's advantages and disadvantages to each, because each do certain things well that the other doesn't do. So our diagnosis always needs to consist of both sides if I'm working on the engine control module. If I'm working on one of these other systems, such as the door or the instrument cluster or my smart key, I don't want to go on generic side. I need to go straight into the enhanced side, because that's where that information is going to be. So just like getting dressed in the morning, where you need to know what clothes are in what drawer, you need to do the same thing with a scan tool. You need to know what's going to be in each section so you're the most efficient at it. And I'm going to back up here. And we're just going to go into the engine to start with. So I can see here I have codes, clear codes, data display, freeze frame, which is a generic function. However, this freeze frame may have more data to it. It doesn't have to handle this, follow the same rules. Functional test, that's bidirectional control. Check mode allows 2 trip codes to become 1 trip codes. System test, this allows me to complete full systems. If I change the PCM, this is where I would put the new VIN into the powertrain control module. This links me over to generic functions, and here's troubleshooter, which gives me some diagnostic assistance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into functional tests, and these are all the different kinds of functional tests. So I'm going to come in here to my cooling fan, and what this is going to allow me to do is turn my cooling fan on and off. So if my fan's not working, I showed you guys where I could use a relay tester and a power probe in order to turn the fan on and off and diagnose it. But the first thing I might want to do is see if the computer's actually able to turn it on. So if I come to here, I'm just going to go and I'm going to hit the on button at the top. And I can hit the off button. And you could hear the fan come on in the background. So that's me asking the computer to turn the fan on and turn the fan off. So I could do this with it running or with it off. You can see I can look at a lot of different pieces of data here, depending on what I want to see move while I'm doing that test. And in the case of the fan, what I really want to do is I want to hear the fan come on. So that is one of the tests. So when we talk about bidirectional control tests, this is allowing me to use the scan tool to help me do the tests. So we can see here I have variable valve timing, electronic throttle control. I have a lot of different things. I can change my mixture. I can move my variable valve timing. So a lot of systems, if they're not working right, or I have a code for them, this is a great place to go, because then I can turn the system on and see if it operates properly. Word of caution, if I have a code for a system, my bidirectional controls may be disabled. Means I would need to go back, clear the codes before my bidirectional controls will work. So this is bidirectional controls. So I have those in the engine. The other thing we have is system tests. So system tests are more comprehensive. So in this case, I have a system test automatic. I also have a system test manual. So the manual test allows me to go through the different steps with the factory service procedure and look at different pressure readings and see what happens. Or I can use the automatic test on this vehicle, and it'll actually run my fuel evaporation monitor and set a code if something's not right. I can also go into other systems here. So if I come down to door modules, and let's go to the driver's door module, and if I look at data, I can see number of codes, I can see where the glass is at, so it has 4 positions for the glass, and what the window switch is doing. So if we push the window switch up a little bit, we will see the window switch position change here. And you saw it we saw the down, we saw the switch. So go up again. There you go. So the power switch is down. And we can see the up switch and the down switch go. If you go up a little bit further, we'll see, and then stop it while it's going up with your arm, you'll see that it gets too much tension, it'll go to not okay and stop the window. There you go. So I just got caution here between 1/4 and 2/4, or between 1/4 and 1/2 on the way up. So if I have a window that's sticking or not working, I can see not only is it binding, but where's the problem at. So it allows me to see this, and the window will stop working. So maybe the window's not working, not because anything's broken, but because the track is stuck. Maybe they got a little kid in the car that stuck things. So now we can put the window back down. Now let's put the window up again and see if we can get rid of this caution. And see, now it went through and it's okay. So this is why when we test things, we test them multiple times. Let's go down again. So now I'm going to exit out of this and let me go to actuator tests. Now I can use the scan tool to make the window going up and down. Tells me to wash my hands and my feet for some reason. I'm not sure why my feet are going to be in the window, but better safe than sorry. So now I have these functions, the same PIDs we just looked at, but now instead of having someone get in the car, I can put it up. I can also put it down. So I can work the window up and down. So this does not give me my switch input, but it would help me do a couple things. First of all, is the window binding anywhere? Another thing it would help me do is if the window's not working at all, I know it can't be a switch because I'm not using the switch. I'm using a scan tool. That means it has to be a module or a motor problem. And I figured that out without ever taking the door panel off. So this is just a quick example of how we can really leverage an enhanced scan tool, not just into the engine, but into other parts of the system. Thank you very much.